The movement was begun by a scientist who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered.
They want the weapon.
Look out for Charlie.
I want that son of a bitch dead. I want him dead.
I haven't had a lot of time lately, and I'm still pressed for time, but I wanted to take some time out and talk about this Robert Card case that is going on. This is going to be, and it's going to become, one of the most important and pivotal cases in Voice of God system history, because of the time frame that it happened and where people's belief systems currently lie. And 2020 had a lot to do with that. People are really coming around to what is going on, and they're starting to open up to it because it's safe. Let's be honest, it's because it's becoming safer for people. They're not as scared to be the odd man out in the room, right? And also because of what the family members said about Card. You can't put the genie back in the lamp, and they've already said it. I'm going to get into that. But before I do, I want to say that the reason why my channel exists is to address this and to educate people and get the message out. This is why this information is so important. And it is important that people are aware of this weaponized signal and how it works. Because if Robert Card would have known about this, would have known about my channel, would have known what was going on, he wouldn't have been driven to do what he did. Because he wouldn't have believed it. He was believing the things that he heard. And that is what took him for a ride. So Robert's sister-in-law goes on to say that I've known Rob my whole life. He is quiet, but the most loving, hardworking, and kind person I know. But in the past year, he had an acute episode of mental health, and it's been a struggle. Well, that's not what happened, because she goes on to contradict herself here. And I'm not saying anything bad about her. I'm saying that she's not putting this together correctly. She said that Robert recently began wearing powerful hearing aids to combat hearing loss. Since then, Card said her brother-in-law has been insisting to his family that he can hear people bashing him, including at Just-in-Time Recreation Bowling Alley and at Schmenji's Bar and Grill, where he's accused of gunning down 18 people on Wednesday night. Okay, this signal, and I've been saying this for years, is lying just within the ambient sound. It is down low, and it is lying there, chattering on just within the ambient sound. If you boost this up, if you boost the recording up, you can hear tons of this stuff jump up on the ambient noise. If he is wearing these hearing aids, this is probably why he began to hear it. I don't get how people can't put this together. He gets these hearing aids put in, and then suddenly he can hear people talking about him. You can record this and prove it. So that is what's going on. It is within the ambient noise. It is a physical vibration, a very real sound. Not a radio signal, not a microwave. It is being transduced into a very real vibration. And HARP does this. HARP has a history of doing this. They would pound the ionosphere with radio waves, and as they bounced back down to Earth, they would turn into very real ELF vibrations that would send sound into the Earth, and then they would take that and analyze the data, as well as many other nefarious things. They have a history of turning this into sound, and we know for a fact that this signal is everywhere, and it's just a fact. So it has nothing to do with mental health. It has everything to do with he put these hardcore hearing aids into his ears. I don't know what kind they were. And this began to happen, which gave me a great idea. I'd like to start a drive to get these hearing aids, or a equivalent hearing aid, maybe a cheaper version. And I will get it and begin wearing it and recording it to see what I can pick up. Because you can do this with a regular recorder. But I would like to try one of these hearing aids and see what happens. So if you can donate, please do, because it could advance the science of this big time. I don't usually ask, but if we can do this, it will prove a lot. I was right in the first video about this. Not only were these voices calling him names and saying things about him, but they were telling him to go shoot up the National Guard base. Now come on, man. This is script for script, voice of God weapons attack. And this signal is everywhere. It is not hard to do. Now, there's a comment here that suggests that he will be found dead of exposure or hypothermia, right? And what is weird is I responded to this last night and talked about how he would be found with a gunshot to his head. And then that comment vanished. So I came back and I said, and correct, he will be found with a self-inflicted wound somewhere, or out in the middle of nowhere with a self-inflicted wound, or dying from exposure. The chances of him surviving to talk about what he has endured is low, but possible, but really low. And that's exactly what happened, because after that, he was found. I don't know the details, but I know he was found dead. You know, when you get used to these scripts and how these work, this is a total script, you know. And what I mean is, when people are hit with voice of God weapons in this way, it is designed to walk someone to their own death, to get them to do something that they wouldn't normally do. Now, again, I talked about this in the first video. His sister-in-law says he truly believed that he was hearing people say things, she added. This has all just happened within the last few months. So again, we have this guy that is completely normal for 40 years, his entire life. And then within a few months, after putting these hearing aids in, he begins to hear things. Come on, man. Now, back in May, I finished a project that I had been working on, and I'm still testing it, and I called it the SWAT rat. And what this does is it picks up this signal, and it boosts up the closest one and makes it louder. For those of you who haven't heard it, a voice here says, "You killed my wife." So this is an example of what is in the ambient sound. I recorded this just testing it, and a voice comes in and says, "You killed my wife." And it is not paranormal. This is pulsed communication. It isn't demons or ghosts. This is technology. And I've proven that this is technology over and over on this channel. But let's check it out real quick. "You killed my wife." Check it out. "You killed my wife." Now, if somebody can't hear that, I think there's something wrong with their ears. Now, this is a perfect video to show an experiment that I did about 3 weeks ago. And I was going to make a video on it, but I was really busy. So, this is an excuse to pull it out, because Robert Card got hearing aids put in and began hearing these voices in the ambient sound that he believed were people saying things about him. And again, had he known about my channel, he would have educated himself on this and got what was going on, and it wouldn't have happened. And that's why awareness is so important. So let's get into this audio for a second. I want to show you what I recorded. Before we get into it, let me explain to you that I recorded it with a simple Olympus VN541 PC. It's a little digital recorder. I was at my dad's house for the night. Almost everything is out of there except for a few parts of the house. So I was up laying on a mattress and had the recorder going in the room, laying there taking a nap because I had been working there all night, right? And this is going to prove to you what is in the ambient sound anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. Let me also say that I am not special. There is nothing special about me. This signal is everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. The signal is everywhere. It's like a radio station. I do not hear voices, but I can pull this stuff out once it's been recorded. And I don't have to do much. All I have to do is boost it up in some cases. In some cases, it takes a little more tweaking. In other cases, it is more of a process to get to the signal and boost it up. So let's check out what I found in the ambient sound at my dad's house. And no one lives there, by the way. Let me say one more thing, that this system just chatters and chatters. So when somebody picks something up, what they hear is what's being pulsed. This is pulse communication. And this was in the room while I was laying down taking a nap. A voice is going to come in here. Sounds like a female voice, an artificial female voice. And it says, "This is fucking bullshit." You know, this isn't as clear as the SWAT rat, but you can hear it, so let's check it out. This is fucking bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. Okay, so that's in the room. So Robert Card put these hearing aids in, and the hearing aids are doing exactly what this recorder is doing. It's boosting up the ambient noise. So he heard people saying things about him and saying derogatory things. And here's a voice saying, this is fucking bullshit. Here's bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. Now I'm going to show you how the system just chatters on and on and on. Here you're going to hear a bunch of voices at the same time, and they go on and on. So the closer you get to the signal, the actual signal, the more it sounds like this. When you get an open air recording of a voice that jumps up, then you are getting what I call surface audio, and it will sound like a singular voice on its own. So here is closer to the signal, and you're going to hear lots of voices, just everything chattering at the same time. And you can hear the signal in that. You hear that high-pitched signal? This is not paranormal, this is technology. I have picked up Morse code in this. I've picked up all kinds of crazy shit. Broken signals, pulses. It is technology. It's not paranormal. This is why the inflection is weird, because they are pulses. You know, no one lives at my dad's house. I'm up there sleeping. And in that, right here, a voice comes in and it says, I can't go home. Right there, I can't go home. So, do these voices pretend and trick people into thinking that what they are experiencing is paranormal? Absolutely. Is it paranormal? No. Am I saying that the paranormal doesn't exist? No. So stop with that. I'm saying the paranormal is much more extraordinary than some pulsed communication. I can't go home. Okay, so in that room, a voice is going to come in. And by the way, this is between 2 and 4 a.m. when I was lying down. So a voice is going to come in here and it's going to say, you have to stop this. You have to stop this. Here, stop this. You have to stop this, and then another voice comes in and says something after that. Here it is. And it's a deeper artificial pulsed communication. So this is exactly what Robert Card was hearing, this kind of stuff. And there's tons of it all over this channel. There's evidence on top of evidence on top of evidence. The exact same things that Robert Card and everybody else that is attacked with these weapons is hearing. This is for surveillance. This system, first and foremost, is for surveillance, but it's a weaponized surveillance system. And it can talk about personal things because it is monitoring what is going on by sound. Alright, so it can appear personal and say things. For example, I am lying there 3 in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning, and a voice comes in here and it says, he's up in that bed. He's up in that bed. He's up in that bed. So if I heard this, if I was a voice hearer, like the woman that I did a video on not too long ago that hears things commenting on what she's doing, I would say the same things that she says. It's always commenting on what I'm doing. It just said, he's up in that bed, right? That is exactly what this woman talked about just a few videos ago, where it says she's in the hallway now, she's walking down the hall, things like that. It's always talking about surveillance. So this voice says he's up in that bed, and I was in fact up in that bed. So it is a surveillance system as well as a weapon. It's a weaponized surveillance system. This one says, I'm gonna take your shit down. Here's shit down. It only says negative and derogatory stuff, and if it is neutral, it is talking about surveillance or things that can be taken negatively. Now, a completely different pulse communication comes in and says, I can't go home, just like the first one that I showed you, except it's much higher pitched. And it sounds almost like a childish female. So here comes, I can't go home. Very spooky, huh? Here we go. I can't go home. This was not recorded with an antenna or some radio system. This was recorded with a simple voice recorder. It is picking up real vibration, not radio signals. It is picking up voices, vibrational, mechanical sound. This is a good example of how it can sound when a bunch of them are hitting different frequencies and bouncing around, like within a room. There's no furniture and no carpet in this room. It was basically just a mattress on the ground, and I'm taking a nap after working all night there. So you're going to hear a low voice come in, and then a high female sounding voice is going to chirp in almost, and it's almost squeaky. So let's check it out. But there's a low male voice within that you can hear. And if you can't practice, train your ears, and you can hear it. Again, this is not as clear as the SWAT rat recordings, but it's to prove a point that these voices are in all ambient sound everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. I'm in an empty home that's not even occupied by anybody, and there are voices coming in and talking. And there's a low voice there. Now this continues no matter what. It is always chattering in the background. But one voice, two voices, three voices, whatever will rise up and will be the dominant voices in a particular area. We've only got a couple left, and then I'm out of here. A voice is going to come in here, and it says, you're in trouble. Now, this is the exact kind of thing that Robert Card was hearing, that all of these people hear. It is not a mental illness. If you can record it out of thin air, where somebody is and hearing these voices, then people are no longer mentally ill. Their hearing is just more acute than others, or they are being made to hear it. In Robert Card's case, he got these hearing aids and began hearing it, and then it ramped up. Here's a voice that says, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. But if you notice, the closer you get to the signal, the more the inflection is kind of strange. You're in trouble. Then a voice comes in after that and says something here. And it goes down, then another voice comes in here. Now, this is what I call the Wicked Witch voice, and people used to complain about this voice all the time. It used to be a favorite of the testers. A voice is going to come in right here, and it's a very crazy, cartoonish voice. Check it out. Female. It is technology. Now, this is awesome. You hear that Wicked Witch voice sort of fall into the background a little bit, right? Then you hear what sounds like feedback in the room. So it's like a bandshell syndrome, or creating a perfect storm in certain areas of every home, every building, every structure, everywhere. It is louder than other places. And this is where the hum comes from. The hum is an ELF signal that isn't in one place, it is everywhere, and in certain areas it creates a band shell or perfect storm where it can be heard by, multiple people in an area humming, because this is through earth technology. So it goes everywhere. It's just like harp. And if it isn't harp, it is very harp-like technology. So here we go. So there's the Wicked Witch. And there's the feedback. Okay, now this is the last one. I want to show you how they rise up in a room, and it is about 6 to 8 decibels higher than the ambient noise. So it will jump up on generally ELF pulses when you're talking late at night when there's not a lot of sound being created. So check this out. Sound is going to come in and voices are going to start saying things. So there's the second one. And again, it is always negative, it is never positive, and when it is neutral, it can be taken negatively because it is talking about surveillance. He's up in that bed, she is walking down the hall, this guy is doing that. It is letting you know the illusion that someone knows what you're doing. And when you feel that you're being watched 24 hours a day, when people are fooled by this, they are easily tricked into becoming violent because they believe that their life is in danger as well most of the time. And it's a lot easier than people believe. Now I'm going to say that Robert Card was not mentally ill at all. He's one of the thousands of people that report this all the time who began hearing it after having these hearing aids installed. And the evidence on this channel alone is through the roof. Other people out there are doing this exact same thing. They sat down and they took the time to learn how to find this, how to pick it up, and how to tune their ears to find it and then boost it. And then once you boost it, everybody can hear it. The Robert Card case is going to become one of the most important cases of voice of God weapons because of how people are leaning and how they feel, and because of what the sister said about the hearing aids. This is all very important. I'm going to keep track of this. When I'm done doing the work that I've been doing, I'm going to do a deep dive into this. And if somebody could get Robert Card's sister or family to watch this video, that would be awesome. And I'll talk to you guys soon. That's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
I don't like the world now. I mean, before I always knew I was a son of a bitch. But now I'm the only son of a bitch I know. Hey, make way for a real human being. Get out of the way, yeah.
Look out for Charlie.
I want that son of a bitch dead. I want him dead.